welcome to a discussion about a very, 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 very controversial topic in Universal Studios Orlando. The new ride, Fast and Furious Supercharged. Is it cash or is it trash? As you probably know, most people say it's trash. However, I slightly disagree, but that's what we're here to discuss.
So after the last discussion video that we did, we've decided to do more with this background. Alright, and for today's topic, we have something interesting. We're going to talk about Fast and Furious, because, I mean, we actually have a pretty interesting opinion on the subject.
Yeah. Most people, as you know, they say, oh, it's terrible. Now, I'm going to quickly make here, I've heard a complaint that the ride vehicle isn't good. Now, I don't think that's a valid complaint. Because, it's on the Universal Studios tour, like the tram tour in Hollywood. They're probably not going to create a whole new ride system just for the ride when they already have one down in Hollywood. So, that complaint is one I don't think is valid. However, let me just quickly give my point on the discussion. Now, I don't think the ride is, Universal's worst attraction. Oh, no, it's so bad. No, I don't agree with that. There's some charm to it. It depends truly on the people you ride with, or whether you're having fun when you're riding it, and you just have to sometimes accept it with what it is. Now, this is something that we don't agree with. I actually like Fast and Furious Supercharged more than Jimmy Fallon, because I don't find Jimmy Fallon an enjoyable attraction. I mean, it's fun, but people give the common complaint is it's just another screen ride. Well, look at Jimmy Fallon. You don't even move forwards or backwards. You just shake. Whereas in Fast and Furious, you actually move, which that's why I enjoy it more, is because, I'm not a huge screen ride person, but at least I get more less screen ride stuff with Fast and Furious.
So we're about to talk about what happens on the ride, so if you haven't been on it, spoiler warning, so... Alright, here we go. Alright, so you get in your party bus. Scene 1 is basically just a dark tunnel with, some moving effects. Now, this actually was a pretty good first scene, and I remember the first time I rode it, I actually thought it was pretty cool, and I thought it was legit, but then I began to realize... Hey,
we're not moving.
This isn't real. Yeah, Jordan was sitting next to me. He leaned over and was like, hey, we're not moving. And I started to realize it, and I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. And then you get into scene 2, which everybody who's talked about it has said that it reminds them of the great movie ride. And yeah, in a way, this is very true. It's like a massive physical set.
Yeah, that is why I don't get how people prefer Jimmy Fallon. You get to see physical stuff in this one. And that's why I feel like the screen ride complaint might also not be that valid, because, not a lot of people complain about Jimmy Fallon. I mean, there were quite a few complaints about that one, but, nobody's bombarded that as hard as, Fast and Furious, which that one gives you more than Jimmy Fallon.
When Jimmy Fallon opened, it did receive a lot of hate, but, nowhere near the amount of hate that people are giving to Fast and Furious.
Every day you go on Facebook, on the Universal website, you just see that whenever they make a post, they're just getting bombarded about complaints about that ride.
Yeah, all those pass holders.
Yeah, it's measured, the time span of this attraction is measured in...
Give it 10 years.
Yeah, it's measured in decades.
Yeah, in 10 years this won't be here.
Oh yeah, anyways, back to scene 3, which is a scene that is hated by a lot of people.
Including myself.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I can enjoy the ride, but I do not like this. I do not like the third scene.
Alright, scene 3 is the Pepper's Ghost. If you've been on the ride in Hollywood, or if you've even been on the ride that's in Orlando, you know it's the Pepper's Ghost scene with characters from the film. Okay, so this scene is so bad because literally your car gets in there and you literally just stop and nothing's happening. You're basically just you're watching a movie while you're stopped in a car. So that scene, thankfully, it's over quick, and then you get into the most exciting
no,
part.
There's more to talk about
Really?
in that second scene. Now, why is it hated so much? Because, it's a ride, yet you're sitting down and watching, people talking. And even though, the stuff that happens on screen isn't that, it isn't that, exciting. It feels like mostly it's there to be hey, those are the stars of the Fast and Furious movies! Woo! Hey, look, The Rock is walking out! Woo!
No, people on the ride actually do that.
That's what I feel like it's made for. It's made to be hey, Vin Diesel, important people, I know them!
We've had a few rides on the ride where, we have the right people who, make the ride better, and, when The Rock walks out during that scene, people start applauding. So once that boringness is done, you get into the exciting part of the ride. The 360 scene from Hollywood. This scene lasts, 70 seconds. It's over like that, but it's what the whole ride has been building to. And up until this point, everything in the ride has been slow-paced, slow, and boring. Or your car just doesn't move at all.
Yes, slow-paced and boring, and then they give us this exciting, final moment that lasts about 70 seconds.
It tries to cram like all the real nuts, like crazy parts of a Fast and Furious movie, like into 70 seconds. Also, it freaking looks like a video game because it's like so poorly rendered CGI.
Well, in comparison to Kong, there is something that this does a little bit better.
What?
Like in Kong, if you look in front of you, you just see like the opening tunnel where your vehicle's gonna go through. In like Fast and Furious, it's more legit 360. Although it's more like there's like behind you can't see stuff. Whereas in Kong, it's just on the sides. Whereas in Fast and Furious, you can look out the front of the bus and see the road in front of you and where you're going. Whereas in Kong, you can't see that. So it's a little bit more legit, but it's still not 360 because you can't see behind you.
I mean, you're not supposed to turn and look behind you on the ride, though.
Yeah, I know, but that'd be cool if, like, you could see all around you. But, like, this whole scene, it ends with, like, a whole jump over a bridge, which the vehicle drops off the platform that shakes it, which that makes the whole scene where you hit the ground seem
Don't
much
forget
more
the
real.
smoke. Like, Kong doesn't have smoke.
Oh! The smoke reminded me of the water. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean,
it's disgusting to think about the water.
You do get blasted with like lots of water on this ride.
No, it's disgusting because, like, if you think, because it's just
it's not clean.
It smells like moldy water in the whole 360 portion. You go out there and you smell like, ugh, you smell like that bad 360 stuff. The smoke is cool though.
Yeah, I love the smoke. Like when you crash after you jump that bridge and you crash.
Although you can't really hear anything. It's just.
Yeah, literally, that smoke, like, sometimes, kind of, like, makes me go deaf a bit. Like, causes my ears to ring because it's blasted, like, psst, like, so loud, like a loud just, like that. A loud, So, yeah, you crash on your bridge after, like, 3 or 4 minutes of the entire ride, not just, like, the 70 seconds of the 360 part. The ride's over.
Yeah. No, there's a little farewell video as you drive through.
Yeah, so there's screens that hang down from your bus.
Oh yeah, and sometimes the ride breaks down so you don't even get to see the farewell video, so...
I mean, like, the most extreme of it, like, in the 360 scene, there's a scene where a car, like, flips over you, and that's, like, where the most extreme, like, jerk comes from.
Yeah, but after that whole 360 portion, farewell video, get off the ride, gone, go through the store, probably not buy any merchandise, gone.
I mean, you can build your own car. I mean, it's not like buying a Banshee in Pandora, but actually, no, I would never do that, but...
It's cool if you're a little kid. But now I want to talk about something else. Comparing it to Kong, and how similar the two attractions are. Whereas, like, Fast and Furious, one reason I like it is how, like this is the main reason I like it. It's not possible, I mean, it's not popular, so not a lot of people want to ride it, and also, it's got 2 vehicles, so it's got extended capacity, shorter lines, so you can get on this ride, really quickly.
Here's the thing, like, the Jeeps on Kong, like, have more rows than the Fast and Furious cars.
Yeah, but Fast and Furious has 2 whole cars.
I mean, it's probably, like, slightly more people than Kong.
Yeah, but
I mean,
still.
I used to think it was double capacity, but no, the Kong, like, Jeeps have, like,
they're big
11 or 12 rows, and the Fast and Furious, like, party buses only have 8 rows.
Yeah. But, like, the comparisons to Kong are pretty similar, but, like, Kong, you start in, like, the whole scene where you're outside, which, that gives you your physical stuff. Wait, actually, Fast and Furious, like, doesn't really give you...
Kong gives you the animatronic.
Yeah, Kong gives you the animatronic, but that animatronic was more made just to, like, to please the fans, and just, like, fan service.
I mean, well, it's cool. I mean, I still think it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool, but now we're not here to talk about Kong, we're here to talk about Fast and Furious. So, like, the ride system is similar, Fast and Furious doesn't really have anything cool with the queue, whereas Kong actually has, like, a cool queue to walk through.
And you got people that jump out.
Yeah, like people who jump out and scare you. That's cool. But in, like, Fast and Furious, you don't have that. You just, like you walk through. There's some videos that play. You go into the dreadful pre-shows.
Okay, let's talk about those pre-shows. So yeah, if you've seen, like, any videos of it, or yeah, if you've been to do the ride yourself, you know about the pre-shows. All right, so the second pre-show kind of has a cool setting, but literally both of them, I hate them. Like, there's a employee interacting with some stuff, like, on a TV screen. Like,
the cheapness of this ride shows off in those pre-shows. So on the video recorded for the Tej person, like, they record it for him to talk with it. This is more in, like, the second pre-show. So they probably just, like, quickly recorded something with the Tej person, and they probably just, like, he, like, waited too long in between his lines, so you can tell. Like, when he's, like, sitting and listening to people talking, like, they sped up the videos in certain portions to, like, make sure it fit the time constraints, that, like, to fit the time that it took for them to say the dialogue. So, instead, like, of, like, just, like, seeming like a really legit conversation, like, him just, like, on a video call, because they sped it up, those portions were, like, he's sitting there listening, and then suddenly, because they sped it up,
Yeah,
like
it's painfully
once you
noticeable,
see it,
yeah.
you cannot unsee it. Like watch really closely, and you well, not you don't even really have to watch closely. Yeah, it's painfully obvious. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
I mean, I used to not see for the longest time, but then you pointed it out to me, and now every time I watch that pre-show, I can't help but see it.
And it just shows how like kind of cheap this ride is, even though they had so much time.
This ride is one of the no, it didn't really take that much time to get put up early. This ride is like one of the laziest things that Universal has given us. Like
they took it out of Hollywood, but
it takes
like,
up a huge chunk of land.
yeah,
in the
it
park.
has a huge show building, and this is like the best thing they can give us. But again, I'm gonna talk about
They're trying to recycle what they have in Hollywood.
let's just like talk about opinions. Like
we rode this, like our first ride on this was during a technical rehearsal, which is basically like a soft opening. So when we go on the ride, we actually, what are you doing?
bobbing away.
You're off. All right, so we watched an online review from, I don't remember who it was from, but like there was like a few online reviews for some people who like rode it during technical rehearsals, and like they were all saying that it was terrible. So when we went to ride this ride, we really like kept our expectations like super low. So that way we like wouldn't be disappointed, but I mean that didn't mean we were going to be fully satisfied either. So when the ride ended after our first ride, we got off of it saying that, you know what, actually that was pretty good, because you know we kept our expectations low. If we were expecting something like Flight of Passage or something, then we would have been like greatly let down.
So what is your opinion? Like what rides what rides is it better than? Simpsons.
So wait, yeah, it is definitely better than Simpsons. I really don't like Simpsons, but you say you like it better than Jimmy?
I like it better than Jimmy. I would prefer this ride over Jimmy Fallon.
Okay, so he really hates Jimmy. Me, I
No, I don't like hate Jimmy Fallon. It's just like
you'd be okay with
it's just not my
riding
favorite because like the way because like with Fast and Furious you actually move, but in Jimmy you just like you sit in one place and they just move you around a little bit. Actually, yeah, I would be okay with not riding Jimmy.
Never riding it ever again.
Maybe not never riding it ever again, just like not riding it for a while. Like
yeah, like
we seem to ride it. Like it's not something you need to ride every trip, even every other trip.
I was at Universal on like Saturday night. Simpsons was like a 15-minute wait. I totally could have ridden it if I wanted to, but no, I just walk right past it because Simpsons, like, I'm okay with skipping Simpsons.
Yeah, but again, this is a discussion for Fast and Furious only.
Well,
my final verdict on this ride, I'm gonna give my final verdict. The ride is not good, but like for line for what you're getting, like there's like a 15-minute or like sometimes even like a 10-minute wait to get on this ride because of how unpopular it is and how high capacity this ride is made. Because they definitely had high expectations for this ride. There was posters and marketing for it everywhere. You used to enter like a Publix and then you'd see in like the corner a poster.
You still do see that, like at Publix.
Because they're like trying to make this like their big flagship new attraction, but it totally flopped. So they have this whole high capacity expectation for a ride that never meets that expectation. So you're really like, you can get on this ride really quickly, and what you do get in comparison to that line is definitely worth it. Whereas with Kong, you have to wait like that's the problem with Kong. You have to wait like 90 minutes.
Well, because Kong, here's the thing, like when Kong first opened, like it was
Fast and Furious only.
Look, we gotta compare it to other rides. Like, so when Kong first opened, Kong was actually pretty well received, and yeah, Kong has the same ride system as this, but really Kong was a much better use of it. Like Kong is a ride that's like 6 minutes on it. I've heard people saying that Kong is actually like the longest ride that there is at like Universal, like at Studios and Islands of Adventure.
It is? How long is the ride?
I mean, I don't know, but honestly, Kong is like much more better in it.
Kong just feels like a journey, while Fast and Furious feels like
in Kong, you're in like a dark jungle thing. In Fast and Furious, you're in bright, sunny LA disguised to be San Francisco. Honestly, they should have just, the San Francisco part of the park is basically dead. They should have just like rethemed it to be like LA or something.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole point.
Like, cause it used to be when Jaws was there, but Jaws has been gone for years because, you know, Diagon Alley.
The whole like at the portion at the Pepper's Ghost, like I don't want to make
dubbing.
Like yeah, there's like a dubbing, as you can tell, like when the person says you're under arrest right now. He's like his voice isn't even like the whole voice they dubbed in isn't well tracked, and like the story behind it, like he originally said like get on the ground, but like so instead of like carefully dubbing it in, nope, they just like quickly threw it together, and that's just, I feel like that's kind of the epitome of this attraction.
It was seen as not, I don't know, what he originally said was seen as not politically correct. So here's the thing, like, the first time we rode the ride, I saw that, and I, like, noticed how the way that the dude's mouth was moving was, like, not quite in sync with what he was saying. And I watched a video of, like, the Hollywood version, And in the one in Orlando, he says you're under arrest right now. But in the Hollywood version, he said get on the ground right now. Apparently, that was seen as not politically correct. I mean, I don't think that really that change was needed to be made, because honestly, it makes the ride like 2% worse.
Yeah, because then like it's just. I feel like I said earlier, that's kind of the epitome of this attraction. That's the epitome of this attraction. You make it, you realize something's wrong, quickly fix it, and expect that people are going to be totally okay with it. But it just, like, with this attraction had potential. It has the huge like popularity of the Fast and Furious movie series behind it, and they failed to deliver it. But because of that, if you're willing to ride the ride, you can get a good enjoyment because you don't have to wait through a long line.
I mean, well, what's the point if you don't like the ride? Everybody's allowed to have their own opinion on this ride. If you hate it, that's fine. You're allowed to.
Go ahead.
So like we recognize that it's terrible, and but we look at the ride as a whole and we're like, you know what? We like it. Like, it's a guilty pleasure for us. Like, Jordan doesn't relate to this, but me. Same thing with Jimmy Fallon. Like, everybody gives me so much crap. Like, you enjoy that? But honestly, yeah, I like Jimmy. Like, Jimmy Fallon is supposed to be a ride that's just kind of like silly and stupid, because it's a ride based off a talk show. Like, what else are you?
Don't those words sound weird coming out of your mouth? Yeah, ride based on a talk show.
Yes, honestly, like that ride, because of the source material of that ride, I don't know how long that's gonna last, but that's a topic for a completely different video.
Yeah, that's an entirely different
Like
discussion.
Fast and Furious, like, you know, we have Hobbs and Shaw that are coming out, like a Fast and Furious spin-off, and I hear Fast and Furious 9 and 10 are planned to come out. Because, you know, Fast and Furious it's a big franchise that has a long future ahead of it. Who knows, we'll have, maybe in 10 years when this ride closes, we'll have Fast and Furious 35. Who knows?
I don't know, maybe they'll bring it back for Fast and Furious 105. The sequel to the sequel that was made as a sequel.
To Hobbs and Shaw, the spin-off. Who knows? Now that we're getting like spin-offs and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, but longevity-wise, this attraction is not looking good. It's not popular. The lines are low, so it's not gonna last. Like, it has about, like, even in the next decade, it's probably gonna be gone.
No, before this decade is even over, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, before like. I'm trying to think.
I know. Maybe it'll close in, because honestly, this ride it opened in 2018 last year. It's actually nearing 1 year of operation. Like here, when we went for our first ride during technical rehearsal, that was the one time the line was actually kind of long. It wasn't like, we waited like 30 minutes. It wasn't like super long or anything, but it was still a bit of a line. Like every time we go in there, it's like basically just a walk on now.
Yeah, if a ride cannot fit its like seats and its lines with people, it's not gonna last. That's why, like, some things that like in theme parks, like some attractions you think they're terrible, but still they fit people. Frozen Ever After, it's not good. Like, it's Simpsons and Frozen Ever After, they're not good, but somehow they keep getting people and they fill in the seats.
Simpsons has been going for like 10 years now.
Yeah, but they can fill in seats with people and it can keep a long line.
I mean, I don't know, Simpsons, I don't know if it was exactly that well received, like when it opened. Frozen Ever After has an audience of like young little girls who like princesses, so for that audience it pleases, and also that ride to this day is still getting hour-long waits. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, but the thing is, Disney World is crazy popular, so even if something sucks, well, I mean, you can't say the same for Journey into Imagination with Figment, so no, not everything that sucks like gets a long line, but yeah, Frozen has an audience, so it was able to please that audience. Fast and Furious like wasn't able to really please its audience.
Yeah, and
so we were at Universal like 2 weeks ago for Rock the Universe, and this is when probably we had
the best ride on this ever. That might even be an understatement. So, let me describe the story.
Oh yeah, you can describe the whole story.
We board our vehicles, we sit down on our seatbeltless seats, we prepare ourselves to experience Fast and Furious. We've already experienced it before, but still. So we move, driving through the tunnel, we take the turn, you enter the tunnel, where the stuff moves by you. As soon as that happens, this is what we hear from somebody behind us. Here comes the drop!
I love that, man.
That is amazing. That is a line you could quote on any attraction. And that is truly what makes this attraction fun. People you ride it with.
The right kind of people. Like, honestly, we got into the Pepper's Ghost scene, and this guy, no, not this guy, like our whole car.
Yeah, they were cheering when they saw people coming on the screen.
No, they cheered when they saw The Rock came out, and also like when The Rock came out, but we've had tons of people who do that before, and also So then we go to move into the 360 scene, and once again the dude's like, here comes the drop.
It's still not as funny, but...
And like honestly, like when we first got into that moving tunnel, like, and he was like, here comes the drop, I was like, this guy's great, I love him. Feel like he made not him and all the other people in our car.
They made
because like here, remember when we jumped that bridge and crashed down when the ride was over, like our whole entire car like everybody in our car like started clapping and cheering, and I was like, wow, these people actually enjoyed the ride, because here they accepted what they got, they learned to live with it, and they enjoyed the run. Because honestly, like if you can do that, like I'm able to do that with Simpsons too, but just I mean I have higher tolerance for Fast and Furious though.
Yeah.
But like even on Simpsons too, you can like accept what you got and enjoy the ride. Like honestly, that's what these people did, and they made the ride better for us.
That is kind of like the good message to leave you on. This ride with tons of possibilities, the whole Fast and Furious crazy movie series behind it, failed to deliver, and that's just kind of the message to leave you on. So even some of the greatest things, like with great intentions, like things can fail.
Alright, so we're talking about it here like we hate it, but as we said before, we actually enjoy this ride. Like every time I go to the park, I really try to hop in a ride on Fast and Furious. It isn't the worst thing. Like usually we aren't the type to hate a ride. Like honestly, we would gladly take this ride over nothing, because like as pass holders and like people who come to the park so many times and have done so many things so many times, like getting something new, even when it's like on this level, it's still kind of like, it's something new. Like the first time riding it, there's like a sense of discovery, like because it's things we haven't seen before.
Well, thank you guys for watching this, I guess, extended discussion on Fast and Furious Supercharged and Universal Studios Orlando. We will see you all whenever we upload another video here on the Thrill Brothers.
If there's any more topics you'd like to see for discussion videos, please comment them down below. We'll maybe take requests. We've been wanting to do like more videos like this for a while, but like sitting and talking to the camera like this isn't really like what we do. I mean, yeah, we do it at the parks all the time, but this is kind of different. But yeah, if there's any topics that you would like, please comment below. Alright, now say something to be goodbye, Jordan.
Alright guys, we'll leave you there. But always remember, here comes the drop!